right, so this is our prop. This is the hidden dialogue. This has all 12 houses. The top is the 12th house, and the bottom is the 5th house. So we're going to be utilizing the first house because we are dealing with Aries energy. Aries energy is a cardinal sign. The other cardinal signs are Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, as well as Aries. So with that being said, we're going to be utilizing our smaller portion to describe exactly what we're going to be talking about. So this shape is called the dodecahedron, and this shape is going to give us each house, as I stated. So the first house that we're going to be dealing with is the first. The second house and the third house is on one side of the figure. So we're going to be utilizing our first house of self, our resources, and the way we communicate everything that we're going to be doing within our journey. So how I have it, I have already put up this figure. Through our some of the posts that we already have, and this figure is pretty much this once you put it together. So the first, second, and third house in your zodiac wheel in your birth chart is going to be different than what's already on here. So you would insert your placements, whether it's your planets that you have in that house or the zodiac sign that rules that house. So we're going to use the first house, meaning your rising sign. So as you are working with the Aries energy in our season, we're going to be utilizing the rising sign, your moon sign, your Mercury, and your Mars placement. We're not going to focus on the midheaven right now. We're going to focus on the first 3 M's. So outside of utilizing the Aries season, we're going to be focusing on what Aries is bringing. We have Jupiter in Cancer, we have Saturn in Aries, we have Neptune in Aries, and those big planets, I want to say the outward planets, are going to be highlighting what houses you have those planets in. So wherever your Jupiter is, wherever your Saturn is, and your Neptune is going to highlight the area in your chart that you're going to be focusing on. Those themes of those houses are going to help you see exactly where you need to navigate yourself as far as your internal thinking when it comes to the first, second, and third house. So if we're going to go through the ideals, we're not going to focus on every zodiac sign in this video, but we have the ideals that we're going to be focusing on in Aries season is the structure of how you navigate your spiritual journey, how you navigate your intellectualism, how you navigate your resources, how you navigate your articulation in your resources is going to be in a cardinal sign. So with that being said, we have a couple of ways that we can, describe this. This is going to be the beginning portion of your journey. So how I think of Saturn and Aries, how a lot of us are going to be utilizing that energy is how do you plan to move forward with the resources you have? Your industry that you're going to focus on, and what is already being offered in your industry outside of the navigation between I'm going to offer this because I like this. There are going to be individualism. I should say the introduction to individualism is going to be Aries season. So we're exiting Pisces, but the spiritual journey that you have alongside your efforts is going to show you exactly where you need to navigate your time. So let's say that we're going to focus on the identification of our journey, not just career-wise, but personality. How much effort are you going to give towards your personal growth, your career, and your structure, the structure of your craft? So Aries is going to focus on how they identify. Excuse me. Aries is going to focus on how they identify themselves in their craft, and that is going to be your niche. That's also going to be the way that you offer your services. So outside of it just being work related, your craft is going to be your identification, your perspective, your point of view, and the themes that rule your first house is going to show you how you interact with your craft. So the archetype of your first house is going to show you how you interact with your craft. Your identification with your craft is going to form your point of view. So when you are building with your Jupiter placement, wherever your Jupiter placement is in your house, in your birth chart, that house is going to highlight specific themes that your identification, meaning your first house, the archetype that lives in your first house, is going to help you navigate how to maneuver through your craft. When you think of Jupiter, Jupiter expands your, I want to say, your ideals of lifestyle, perspective, resources, and the future that you want to manifest. So right now we're currently working on our internal manifests, and this is where like you have to be diligent in what you want to see, I would say, become a part of your everyday process. So the archetype that you embody from your first house is going to maneuver through all of the 12 houses. So I'm going to get my book so I can help bring up some context to what I'm saying. So we have Aries risings is going to be the way the zodiac wheel is already. So I'm going to focus on Tauruses first. So Taurus, your first house is going to be ruled by the earth sign, which is fixed energy. Your second house is going to be ruled by Gemini. So with that being said, let's just focus on the second house being Gemini. For a Taurus rising, you're going to focus on how you navigate your communication and your resources. So when you look at your resources, the second house is your self-worth, the things you're able to generate on your own, and the way that you articulate your resources. So your resources may just be you're a connector to someone else, meaning this is going to be casual conversation amongst your peers, or the mainstream information that we're discussing among your social media platforms or the people that are around you. Those conversations are going to be what you provide information for. So you may end up being a researcher. You may end up being somebody who has insight to other conversations, or at least the answer to the conversation that people are having. And then your third house is going to be your communication, which is going to be ruled by Cancer. So now the way you naturally gravitate towards these people are going to be the things that you are able to offer. If you are finding these people, whether they're in, let's just say that the conversation is about home, foundations, their family, or anything like that, you might end up finding institutional things, whether that's their I want to say not institution. Well, I can say the institution, but what institution? Let's say their healthcare, their primary doctor, or their food. These areas of their body, these areas of their life, you may end up having resources or information about. And this is how you can navigate having those options as something that you can offer to these people. Now we're going to just go to the Gemini risings. The Leo archetype is in your third house of communication. So you might end up being the socialite of people having your conversations be brought to you. Why I say that is because Gemini is your ascendant. So the ascendant of the first house in your archetype is going to show you that Leo is helping you bring forth that shine of conversation. Conversation in Leo brings on the archetype, I want to say, of having a lifestyle that, let me not say it like that. I want to say a lifestyle of bringing forth your hobbies of idealism. I want to say idealism, but you are probably communicating that as a fourth of a new era for you. So everybody's going to probably want to know how you got where you are. And that could be a previous experience, usually a catalyst. And that's how you're going to be able to maneuver certain things. So we're only focusing on the first, the second, and third house. So they're going to go to the Cancer risings, and the third house is going to be Virgo. So the third house is going to be the communications that you're having within other people and how you navigate utilizing your second house of Leo. So you might end up being in that stage of how can I say this? Your previous experiences of being in the limelight may give you more insight to how people can maneuver currently in there based on the experiences you've already have. And the first house being where you have already understood that how you nurture your environment is going to be how you reflect and how you act in your reality. So if you are taking care of your home, if you are taking care of your appearance, you're taking care of your friendships, and you're nurturing those areas of life, your resources, your second house of Leo is going to help you know exactly where to pinpoint and how to offer these things that could come up as Virgo being your third house. The way you do work, the way you offer your structure, how you maneuver through your life is going to also help people maneuver through how they should be moving in life. So Leo ascendants, Libra is in your third house, so that communication is going to be through partnerships. The partnerships that you've already have is going to help you navigate how to use the second house of Cancer, which you've nurtured, what you've cared for, the things that you weren't caring for, and you have the experience of how that catalyst changed your perspective on how you can maneuver further. We're going to continue this up. We have Virgo, we have Scorpio of the third house, and Scorpio being the transformation catalyst and the themes of actual, I don't want to only say morbid, but I want to say the creative aspect that you were prompted to infuse into your participation of either conversations, the way you maneuver through one, just a transformation, but how you actually build from that catalyst. What is the thought process that you have between who you are now and where you want to be at the end of any deadline that you've put together? So Virgo, I'm sorry, Libra being in your second house, those partnerships that made you transform and detach from your current resources is going to show exactly how you can help people maneuver through that conversation. They may ask you for tips on how you maneuvered through the transformation or what steps you took, the structure that you took, because now that gives you the Virgo rising of showing how structure helps you build in a transformation. Let's just say that. So we have Libra risings. We're going to be focusing on the third house. Sagittarius is in your third house, and that placement, whatever placements you have in your third house, is going to show you exactly how far Jupiter is going to be able to take you with it in Cancer, because it's going to be nurturing your studious, I want to say studious and scholarly point of view that is going to be rooted in how you navigate through that conversation or any communications that you have with people. Your second house is going to be in Scorpio. So those transformational experiences that made you have to always start from scratch, because we already know once you have a catalyst, you are working with previous energy, but you're only working with that as knowledge. You may not always have those resources anymore. And what you've learned in the process is how you're going to communicate that as a Libra rising. So we have Scorpio risings, which is myself. You're going to be utilizing your third house of Capricorn energy. So that whatever you have as a ultimate goal is going to be what your third house is going to be communicating. My ultimate goal is to help people have a navigation system to work with when you are going through a catalyst or a transformation. Your transformation is everything when it comes to who you are going to be once you actually finish your deadline. So we're assigning tasks in Aries season. Whatever you assign yourself, you have to go through the process of gaining knowledge. You have to build a system, and you have to have an archetype which has hats and keys, meaning skills and resources and the expertise and knowledge. So these areas of life is going to help you navigate how you can offer your expertise to somebody within communication. Sagittarius risings, you had your third houses in Aquarius. So this is how you're going to be building the narrative of the ultimate goal. We have Pluto in Aquarius at this very moment. We could say it's still in the sign of Pisces, but you can deliberate that on your own. It's in Aquarius in tropical astrology. So when you are building the perspective of your ultimate goal with your third house, you're going to be focusing on the areas of life that need to be transformed and have an accelerated point of view based on what planets you have in the third house or any planets that are surrounding the third house. So we have Capricorn risings. We have Pisces in the third house. Now, this is going to be the ethereal aspect of yourself. This is going to be the subconscious aspect of yourself. This is going to be where you are allowing your connections to your reality to be formed and shaped by your second house, which is going to be in Aquarius. Again, we're utilizing Pluto in Aquarius. Your resources are going to be utilized from that point of view. Aquarius is needing to evolve in what its participation is, but is a fixed sign, and it's going to be a part of that whole building the prototype. Once the prototype is built, what can be evolved in that prototype with it being in your second house. So we have Aquarius rising, Pisces in your second house, and then we have Aries in the third house. And Aries is going to be projecting this outward. We're going to be utilizing how to not necessarily be impulsive, but build from that assertiveness. So your conversations may be very bold and cutthroat. You might want to keep a soft spot or I should say, keep in mind the soft spots that you should lead with, even though the conversations are very assertive. So I'm just going to leave it there. Aquarius just know how to work with Aries energy in their third house. We have Pisces rising. The third house is going to be Taurus. Now, the reason why I didn't want to start specifically with Aries, I'm going to go back to Aries, but because we have Taurus in the third house for Pisces rising, Taurus is going to be focused on the resources itself. You're going to be talking about the resources people have. You're going to be utilizing your ethereal aspect and point of view on how to maneuver, or I should say, offer those resources to other people, because you have to tell them what they need or what they're going to be experiencing before offering off your services or any of those things. So now we're going to go to Aries. So we have Aries, the third house is Gemini. So how you utilize your third house is going to be the way you communicate your first house. You're going to be utilizing your archetype. You're going to be utilizing what that archetype offers. You're going to be utilizing the themes of that archetype. Aries season is going to be building your platform. No social media. This is the theory of who you are. It's going to be built, and you have the second house of Taurus to find every single resource that's going to amplify what you're building as your identity. Then you go to the third house of Gemini and you communicate that. So outside of the Mercury placement, your Moon, and your Mars placement, those three M's are going to be helping you focus on how you can maneuver this archetype of your rising sign to help you pursue these goals. You need to communicate, which is your Mercury placement. You need your Moon to help you understand how to emotionally attach to your clients, to your offers, to your resources. You need to understand what life cycle your resources are going to go through. And that is going to help you propel the life cycle of your customer. What are they going to experience once they start to interact with what you're offering? So I'm going to go towards the back of our book really quick. And we're going to focus on the 12th house. So we have 12, and I want to focus on this part. So we have the number 12, 8, 2, and 3, right? The 12th house, we have 8, 2, and 3, right? The 8th house of a transformation, the 12th house of a spiritual awakening. That's the second house of your resources. And the third house is how you communicate that. So you want to make sure that the why paradigm that you're currently in is something that you've understood. In order for us to move to our Y paradigm, the X paradigm needs to be thoroughly understood and at least have a report on what you learned. You can do that through journaling. You can do that through audio recordings. You can do that through daily vlogs. You can experience your X paradigm to its fullest extent, so you know exactly what you are looking to experience in your Y paradigm. So I have your X paradigm set up as you being the observer, and then you're understanding the catalyst that caused you to be prompted to create a Y paradigm. So in order for you to encourage, or I should say engage with an exchanged loop of success is going to be what you are trying to gain out of this change that you're experiencing. And the change is the global change that we're experiencing when it comes to AI, when it comes to our financial status, it comes to our social status. And this is something else that I wanted to highlight. When you're utilizing astrology, there are archetypes of each zodiac sign. There is a vibration for each zodiac sign. There is a low vibration, and then there is a high vibration. The goal is to understand both polarities of that zodiac sign, because we have degrees in each one of these zodiac signs, which goes from 0 to 29 degrees. And these are broken up into 3 increments, where we have 0 to 9, 10 to 19, and 19 to 29. So, 20 to 29. These 3 increments are going to show you the ideal persona that you are looking to achieve based on your placements. So let's say that you have Aries at, I have Aries at 8 degrees, I believe. So let's say Aries at 8 degrees. 8 degrees of Aries is going to show maybe a very, I don't want to say a bad, because none of them are bad. It is a polarity of the archetype. So once you understand, as I said, the X paradigm, where you are, you're going to be evolving to the next stage. And that level is going to require a new persona from you. It's going to require you show up differently. So this is understanding your X paradigm before you go into your Y paradigm. The concept of the archetype is highlighting the Mars energy and the Aries energy of your persona. Not that you have to work specifically with your Mars placement, but the idea is how you identify yourself, meaning your first house, which is going to be your ascendant sign, your rising sign, is going to show you the Aries energy of that archetype, whether it's in any of the 12 signs. So we're going to be utilizing the 8th house, the 2nd house, the 3rd, and the 12th house. So the spiritual awakening that you get that causes you to become aware of the catalyst is the fact that the 12th house is showing you your hidden enemies. The 12th house is going to be ruled by the sign before your ascendant sign. The rising sign is the first house. The house before the rising sign is the 12th house. That is going to be where you have your hidden enemies and the things that are very, very unclear about what you're experiencing internally. This is going to be your subconscious, and those glimpse of experiences that make you question your reality is going to be in the 12th house. So we're not going to go through each zodiac sign for the ascendant again. However, each one of the zodiac signs in your chart, each one of the zodiac archetypes in the zodiac wheel is going to represent one house for your 12th house. One of the zodiac signs for your 12th house. So as you're building your awareness around your birth chart, and you know exactly what placements you have in which house, you can understand what is opposing your 12th house. And you then see exactly how these experiences starting to occur when you are looking to experience your Y paradigm. So let's just talk about Uranus for a second. I believe Uranus is going to be going into Gemini, either 2026 or 2027. I believe it's 2026. But Gemini is going to be giving us a little bit more of shocking news, and that's like communication, and it's going to be very close to home. You may have shocking breakthroughs when it comes to your peers. These conversations may challenge your way of thinking that makes you show up a little differently. So this is where prompted energy in the zodiac expression is going to come from, because Uranus is dealing with breakthroughs and unexpected changes and things as such. So let's see. I want to talk about the hat and keys that I mentioned earlier. The keys in the imprinted empire is going to represent your skills and your specialty. The things that you use as resources to build your craft is going to be the keys. Your hat is going to be a representation of your specialty. Your hat is going to be the niche that you offer up to society. These areas of life are going to show you in your chart what qualities and elements that you should look to evolve with as you grow. You can't change your birth chart, just one you got, and know that it is progressing as you progress. So as you are growing through your third house, your fourth house is being prepared as you're growing through your third house. You just haven't gotten to that point yet. So the I want to say I don't want to call it a cure, but the ultimate goal that we're looking to obtain and understand to its fullest extent is building a relationship with the over functioning archetype that you have within your birth chart. So, how you see this being done is the squares that you have in your birth chart, the stelliums that you have in your birth chart, where you have multiple degrees at the same degree. Multiple placements at the same degree. And they could be just in different signs, but it's the same degree. These repetitive patterns through your birth chart is going to show you where over functioning archetypes are at. And when you're challenged in any way, professionally, socially, or internally, you are going to resort back to a default setting, which is going to be a specific archetype, mainly because you have already been working from there. And it doesn't really have to be success that you found working with this archetype that is over functioning. It's just a level of comfort that your psyche is very comfortable resorting back to. And I call that the default setting, where you can build from your default setting. You just have to become aware of it. So the second house and the sixth house is going to help you understand how to get out of that over-functioning archetype and stem from your resources and build a new routine to get out of your stagnant energy. So the highlight of the imprinted empire is going to stem from being a multi-hyphenate. So you are going to be utilizing multiple houses in your chart to understand yourself. And this is going to help you build a storyline. So you have a mission, which is going to be your first house, your ascendant sign, your rising sign, plus your sun placement, plus your Mars placement. As I said, the Mars placement that you have in your zodiac chart is going to show you what archetype really shows up when it's time for you to make decisions and you start moving and you create momentum in your reality. The second one is a fear or a wound. Now, when you are building from a catalyst, you are going to understand exactly what prompted this catalyst. It could be a life experience, it could be self-induced, or it could be your peers leaving you out. Usually it happens when people are left out of information and they're getting information later than their peers, and that prompts them to feel a specific way, which then resorts them back to an over-functioning archetype. Then the wound and fear is going to be the 12th house, as we already stated, your Saturn placement and your Chiron. This is what makes you understand exactly how your hidden enemies or information that has not been brought to you, how that hinders your process in overcoming the catalyst. So the behavior that you execute is going to be your 6th house. We already spoke about that. Your Mars placement on how that archetype interacts with your reality, and your Mercury placement, something we already talked about. So the symbolism of this storytelling and building yourself as a multi-hyphenate is going to be your 5th house, your Neptune placement, and your Venus. Now, we already said as a global stage, Neptune is in Aries. So Aries and Neptune is already in the form of building its own ideal subconsciously. Like subconsciously as a globe, we are all building our own ideals right now. So we have symbolism as the 5th house, Neptune and Venus. Then we have the social role of how you fit into your communities or your society. As I said, the wound and the fear that we experience is going to prompt us to want to excel to a social status and hierarchy. We don't have to publicly make this known. This is some things that are internally trying to be executed or achieved, I should say. Let me get some more. So we have the social role as a 10th house, Jupiter and Saturn. And this is just where you fit into society, and this could be all influenced by your judgment and the evolution of your archetype and the story that you're telling as you are building your multi-hyphenate journey. It's going to be your 8th house, your Pluto placement, and your north and south nodes. Now, your south node is going to be a representation of not just your past life, but the default energy that you create. Let's just think about this as, excuse me, as a previous way of thinking, the evolution. You have to evolve from where you are. Your current evolution is at its peak right now, mainly because you've been brought to this awareness. Now you can address it. Now you can move and make decisions based on the information that you have. So that's going to be the transformation, your 8th house. Then it's going to be your Pluto generation. Your Pluto placement, because that is generational knowledge of where you've already been stemming from. Your reactions are naturally built by your psyche. That can be formed hereditary, and be based on the reality and environment that you grew up in. So that's going to be based on how you developed your perspective. You're going to be building from that. That's what happens when a catalyst is occurring in your life. A transformation is bound to come after that catalyst because you have to make a decision to do something. That's kind of where we are right now in this Aries situation. In this Aries season. So we have the nodes, south and north node. The north node is going to be your ultimate goal. And before you get to your ultimate goal, you have to utilize your MC, which is your midheaven, to help you propel towards that north node. Your south node is going to help you understand why you're making moves to the north node and why you have to move the way you're going to in order to achieve what you're looking to achieve. So as you build as a multi-hyphenate, you need pillars. And those pillars cannot be something that you believe are very vague. These pillars need to stand as supporting details towards your ideals and values. Those pillars need to hold up the structure of your ecosystem. You have values that are going to represent keywords for each one of the things that you want to experience. So moving forward, you want to experience a healthy lifestyle. So that means that you need to eat healthier foods. You need to eat foods that are going to be nourishing to your body, or at least either help you keep weight or lose weight. So those are the things that I want to talk about. Then you have the philosophy, the point of view that you build that are based on these pillars and values. Your point of view is going to be held in that transformation that was caused by the catalyst. So as you are building this navigation system, this ecosystem to maneuver as a multi-hyphenate, you're going to be building your life cycle of your offers and the things that you have as a contribution to your industry. So I wanted to give this a good run, and I think I did so. So we're going to end it here, and I will see you guys later.